at you with my first ever weekly installment of What's Happening with the Master Plan. Now, as I said last time, I'm going to continue to do these until we get to some sort of a resolution, and that might be 3 months from now, 4, 5, 6 months, whatever it takes. I'm going to keep doing these every week so you have the latest and greatest, most accurate information on what's going on. This first one, though, is going to have to go back a little bit longer because we've had a lot going on, and I've not done this before. So I'm actually going to go back to the middle of December, where we concluded the first round of focus groups with Dave Humphreys. After that first round, Dave felt like there was a pretty consistent theme that he was starting to see throughout the focus groups on particular elements of the design. And he went back and started working on refinements to the design based on member feedback. And a couple of the big ones that he's looking at were the extension or expansion of the administration offices up here. The membership had pretty strong feelings about that. So he's figured out a way to kind of suck that back in, find homes for people in other parts of the building. He's also working on the what was the ladies' cards area and trying to make that into a couples cards area, and then changing the orientation and how you get into the ladies' locker room so you don't have to work through there. Working on adding some bathrooms to the east end of the building, some halfway house enhancements, and a few other things up here at the clubhouse. He's looking at the bocce, reorienting the bocce at the tiki, and putting a structural lanai to help with the bugs, because that was a big concern of the membership. So we've got that in the works right now. And he's also done some work with the racket center out there, kind of reorienting, find a new location, and finding some different ways to access it and stuff. So that, again, was another hot topic during the focus group conversations. Now, he already presented his kind of first round refinements. The facilities committee met last week and took a look at them, and they felt like he had missed it on a couple of them and asked him to go back and make a few tweaks, and that's what he's working on right now. We're hoping that he gets those back to us later on this week or the first part of next week. And once we do that and make sure that he nailed it, I think the facilities committee will be ready. We'll just push that out to the membership, and you'll all have that, and you'll have an opportunity to look at it. And at that point, we'll start the conversations again with the small groups, 20, 30 people, to bring people in and kind of get their feedback on what they're seeing today. And at that point, after a little bit of time's gone by and people have had an opportunity to digest it, we're then going to reach out with the next survey. And this next survey was intended to start really introducing the idea of what the monthly payment or annual payment could be for the different components of the project. Now, we're going to wind up delaying that survey a little bit, but we have the numbers now, so I'm going to go ahead and give them to you to start thinking about it. The finance committee came up with two different models that they're working on right now. First and foremost, they both have no debt after 10 years. The club has paid for everything that they have chosen to do after 10 years. Okay, that's important in this whole process. The first model has you as a member paying $16.23 per month per $1 million of construction. So if ultimately the membership decides to do $10 million worth of construction, you would have a monthly payment of $162 per month for 10 years. Now, I say that because, remember, this is a master plan. It's just a plan. It's a pathway to the future. Nothing is decided. There are no projects until the members decide to fund them. This first round, you might decide to fund the Tiki and the Talon, or the clubhouse, the Tiki and the Talon, or the clubhouse and the fitness center, or the racket center. And that there's all kinds of ways to do it, and it might happen quickly and it might take time. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's going to be up to the membership. But that number, $16.23, gives you an idea of what it would cost you per month per $1 million. Now, that's without initiation fees. This next model, this next number I'm going to give you, has the club introducing and accepting some initiation fees. And that really kind of starts that conversation about having the future members pay for some of the aspirational capital needs of today. So, as I said in the survey results, there's some support in the community already. The Strategic Planning Committee just voted the other day, 2 nights ago actually, to recommend to the Board of Directors unanimously that they consider initiation fees. Now, before it can be implemented, the membership as a whole is going to have to agree to accept initiation fees, and that would be done as in a formal vote along with everything else related to the master plan. Now, if you bring in some very conservative numbers, from initiation fees, and you take into consideration some downtime and the downturn in the economy and stuff like that, you can get a payment that is $11.07 versus $16.23. So $11.07 per $1 million worth of construction. So that $162 a month goes down to $110 a month for $10 million worth of construction. So as you can see, initiation fees can have a profound impact on your monthly cost for this project. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of that. But I think those numbers will help you think about it as you are playing around with the different components. So some other things that have been going on. The Greens Committee met this week to talk about what came out of the focus groups. It's the first time they've had an opportunity to get together since we concluded that first round of focus groups early in January. The biggest thing right now that kind of is up in the air when it comes to the Talon renovation is hole number 8. Is that preserve or not? We're getting ready to stake it with a surveyor, and then Southwest Florida Water Management District is going to be able to tell us definitively whether it's preserved or not. If it is preserved, it's going to have to stay the same or relatively the same. And if not, maybe we can make it the continuous fairway that is outlined in the plan today. Now, it's important that we understand that because 7 and 8 are linked together. If we can't do that, then that's going to change that 2-hole complex, or at least the work we can do there. So that's kind of where we are right now with the design out there. Part of the conversation also on Wednesday was about different visits the Greens Committee has had to courses that have recently done renovation work and what kind of grasses they've had, where the success has been with different technologies like bunker liners. Right now in the bid we have kind of the Cadillac, the creme de la creme, which is capillary concrete, and Better Billy Bunker. Either one are about the same price. But after some conversations over at Bonita Bay, maybe the Cadillac isn't what we need. Maybe it could be something different, and that's what the Greens Committee is considering right now based on those conversations and those visits. They also had some conversations about relocating the short game area, and that's really driven by the fact that everybody understands there's a parking need. You only have so many spots out there, and that's not going away, and that's not going to get any better. So that is one of the easiest places to reclaim a little bit of land and do some parking, especially when you consider there are other opportunities out there with some rejiggering of some of the stuff in the driving range and around the clubhouse to potentially set up some short game area to play around with. So that's one of the things I think we'll be going back to Nicholas and talking to them about, see if they can't make some of that work. Now, while they were doing that little space analysis, they also were kicking around the idea of relocating the bocce up here to the clubhouse if the membership wanted to do that. And that was really driven by the fact that down there the bocce at the Tiki is a little bit more expensive than it needs to be because we have to fill in the lake. And we are building an architectural lanai over the top of it to help with the bugs. So maybe it would make sense to put it up here by the clubhouse somewhere if we can find the right spot that doesn't impact things too much. So that's definitely something that it's going to continue to be a conversation that we're going to have to work through. So really that's been the bulk of what's been going on in terms of the master plan the last 4 or 5 or 6 weeks. And like I said, I'm going to keep sending these videos out to you to get you the best, freshest information so you can all have it and you can be thinking on the same page. So for now, that's all I have. I'll see you around the club. Thank you very much.